What if I told you that just $100 could grow into a life-changing fortune, not by luck, but by a simple pattern almost anyone can follow? Most people think you need a big salary or a perfect idea to get rich, but the truth is much quieter and much more powerful. There is a simple formula called 5-3-1, and once you see it, you may never look at money the same way again. This is not about get-rich-quick tricks or risky bets that can wipe you out overnight. This is about a slow, steady system that uses time, patience, and one powerful force most people ignore. That force is compounding, and when it works with the 5-3-1 idea, it can turn small amounts into something huge. By the end, you will understand how money can grow almost by itself, and why starting small is not a weakness but your biggest advantage. Imagine planting a tiny seed in your backyard and checking it every day. At first, nothing seems to happen, and it feels like a waste of time and effort. But under the soil, something important is happening that you cannot see. That seed is building roots, and those roots will later support a tree much bigger than you expected. Money works in the same way when you let it compound over time. Compounding means your money earns returns, and then those returns start earning their own returns. It is like your money having children, and then those children having children of their own. At first, the growth is very slow and almost boring to watch. But after enough time, the growth starts to speed up in a way that feels almost magical. Now this is where the 5-3-1 formula comes in. The number 5 stands for 5 years of consistent effort. This means you invest regularly, even if the amount is small, without skipping. The number 3 stands for 3 streams of growth. This could be your main income, your investments, and maybe a small side income. The number 1 stands for one rule that never changes, which is to never stop the process. So the formula is simple but powerful. 5 years of steady action, 3 ways your money grows, and 1 rule of consistency. Let's break this down so it becomes very clear. Most people fail with money not because they are lazy, but because they expect fast results. They try something for a few months, see little progress, and then give up. It is like going to the gym for 2 weeks and expecting a complete transformation. When the results do not show up quickly, they stop before the real growth begins. Another problem is that people rely on only one source of income. If that one source slows down or stops, everything falls apart. This makes it very hard to build long-term wealth. And the biggest mistake is stopping and starting again and again. Every time you stop, you break the power of compounding. It is like pulling the plant out of the soil just to check if it is growing. Let's go back to the first part of the formula, the 5 years. 5 years may sound like a long time, but it is actually very short in the world of wealth building. Think about how fast the last 5 years of your life went by. Now imagine if you had been investing even a small amount every month during that time. Even starting with just $100, the key is adding to it again and again. For example, if you add money every month and earn returns, your total starts to grow. At first, most of the growth comes from what you put in. But later, most of the growth comes from what your money earns. This is the turning point where compounding really starts to work for you. Now let's talk about the 3 streams. The first stream is your main income, like your job or business. This is the engine that fuels everything else. The second stream is your investments, where your money grows over time. This could be stocks, index funds, or other assets that increase in value. The third stream is optional but powerful, like a side hustle or extra income source. Even a small extra income can speed up your progress in a big way. When you combine these 3 streams, you create a system that keeps feeding itself. Your job gives you money, your investments grow that money, and your side income adds more fuel. Now comes the most important part, the 1 rule. Never stop. It sounds simple, but it is the hardest part for most people. Life will get busy, unexpected expenses will show up, and motivation will come and go. But the people who win are the ones who keep going anyway. Even if you can only invest a small amount, you keep the habit alive. Because consistency is what allows compounding to do its job. Here is the truth most people never realize until it is too late. The amount you start with matters far less than how long you stay in the game. $100 can grow into thousands, then tens of thousands, and eventually much more. But this only happens if you give it enough time and never interrupt the process. The real power is not in the money itself, but in the system you build around it. The 5-3-1 formula is not about numbers. It is about behavior. 5 years builds patience. 3 streams build strength. 1 rule builds discipline. When all 3 work together, your money stops depending only on you. It starts growing on its own, like a machine that keeps running. And over time, that machine can create results that feel almost unbelievable. So the idea is simple, but very powerful. Start with whatever you have, even if it is just $100. Stay consistent for 5 years without breaking the habit. Build at least 3 ways for money to come into your life. And most importantly, never stop the process no matter what happens. Because wealth is not built in big moments, but in small actions repeated again and again. The people who understand this do not chase money, they build systems that create it. And once that system starts working, it can change your entire future. Call to action: start your first small investment today and don't break the chain.